All right, here's a video. I'm going to do try to do a short recap of sort of what I am going to try to teach and provide this opportunity in trading. So what's great is, what it is a ATR strategy. ATR is called average true range. So you're playing the range of the market intraday. So it doesn't matter if you have a day job or it's full time. There's certain periods of the day. If you stick to certain rules and you do certain things, and you can read the market, you could potentially do really well. The second part, once you prove to yourself that you're consistent on actually making money and following the rules of getting in at certain times at certain areas of the market, then you can start making money with a company called APEX. APEX is or you can have other prop firms like Top Step, but APEX is the one that I would recommend. It's a prop firm. What this firm does is, let's go ahead and look. It's a trading firm where they allow you to trade up to XYZ amount of money, say $300,000 or $250,000. But in reality, what we'd be looking at is $50,000 account. And one would say, oh, this is too good to be true. You're trading somebody else's money and you're getting paid. Well, let me see how I can maybe break this down to where you can understand this a little bit. So how this works is you are paying for a test account. So in order to have $50,000 of capital, you need to prove to them that you know how to trade good risk reward and good fundamentals of trading. You have 7 days, so the rules are you have 7 days to trade, actually let me do this. Sorry, that's a little bit easier if I go in and show you the guidelines. So what it is a $50,000 account. Your profit goal is you have to make $3,000 within 7 days. You have to make that without losing $2,500. So as you make money, the threshold moves up. So say, for instance, you have a $50,000 account. You can lose from the very beginning. You can lose up to, what is that, $57,500 before you fail the test or the account. As you make money, say you now make $51,000, that threshold moves up. So you, at any point, you cannot lose $2,500. I'll explain this more later. Now I want to get caught in the weeds, but how this works is that's it. One rule: hit the profit goal without breaking the threshold in 7 days, and you pass. So when you pass, what that means is it says right here to pay for a valuation accounts is $167. Says per month because you have a time frame. You need to do that. You don't want to be screwing around, but you need to do it within 30 days or else they'll charge you again. A lot of times what they have are these specials, 71% off, sometimes at 80 or 90. So a lot of times they have a 90% off. You can get this down to, instead of paying $167 a month, you're paying $30 a month. So these test accounts aren't that expensive. So once you prove to them that you can do that, then you pay $150, and then they give you a full account. Same rules. You're trying to hit $3,000 before you hit $2,500. If you can, but from now on, all the money you're making is actually real money for you. So it's not funny money or fake money. So say, for instance, one day or a week you made $5,000. You now have $5,000. And now your threshold goes to $50,000. You cannot break below $50,100. So now you have all that cushion. So the name of the game is building your account slowly without blowing it up. And if you can get to a nice threshold, you start adding different contracts, then it's all about the law of scalability. So APEX allows you to have up to 20 accounts. So you would have to go through this process 20 times. So it is a lot to get a lot of accounts, but you got to think small. All you need, there's some people out there that in 30 days they were able to take a $50,000 account and they were able to make $50,000, and that's off of one account. That's not off 10 or not off 20. So it's doable, and this is just trading small size, like making only $200 a day or $500 a day, and slowly building that up and then scaling. Once you get to $5,000 buffer room, instead of trading one contract, you trade 2 contracts or 3 contracts. And I'll show you the law of numbers and how it can really skyrocket and how this can help. So what ends up happening is now you're trading somebody else's money. You're not really risking a lot. They're risking money, as in the most they can lose is $2,500. And guess what? They'll make that money back by, all these accounts they're charging for, right? So they're not worried. And then for everything you make, you get 100% up to $25,000. So when you reach that, let's see, it says right here, you could take out the max of $25,000, and then anything made over that, they get 10% of that, which, hey, that's great. I mean, I'm trading, I'm making money, but 90% of it's going to you. Now, if that sort of makes sense, doesn't make sense, that's fine. This is just sort of an overview, but this is the numbers. So like, say for instance, on average, if you have one account and you're making $500 and say your goal is, say, $10,000, it'll take you 20 days to make $10,000 if you're making $500. Let me show you on a graph how the ATR strategy works and how it's easy to get to that number if you follow very specific rules and you can read the market. So say for instance today, you see how with ATR, this is the previous day's close, this was Friday, this is the bull pivot, bear pivot, mid-range pivot, -1 ATR. If you would have got in right here, actually I'm going to start drawing arrows. You got in right here, you target right here, you got in right here because it's above the line, you target right here. If it blows past it, you wait for a pullback. You get in right here. Then where do you go? The next pivot, which is right here. And you work your way all the way up, and you see this line? This is 12 o'clock Central Time. That's the morning session. You're done. Really, 10:30 is when you should be done. The morning session, 10:30 is when Central Time is when the European close, so a lot of volume is dead unless it's above a pivot. Then you have a potential trend. So these are things I'll teach you, but as long as you can see where these risk rewards, I will show you where the money can be made. So if you got in right here and you held to the pivot and this took 45 minutes, from here to here was 100 points. For every point the market moves is $20 with one contract. So 100 points is $2,000 with one contract. So if you only risk a few $100s to potentially make $2,000, that's really good. And your goal is only to make $500. So if you do that day in and day out, you can slowly build this thing up. It's the same thing right here. What is the move? The move from right here to this pivot to the bull pivot was 60 points. What's 60 times 20 is $1,200, 1 point. So you could have got 1,200 here, 2,000 here. It's incrementally, building your account and protecting it. So what's hard about this is people's emotions. So if you're looking at this and you're like, well, I'm pretty good at following rules, being disciplined, not getting too emotional, this is perfect for you. If you've never done this before, and you don't know anything about emotions, you might want to try and figure this out, because the worst thing you can want to do is chase the money. Don't chase the money, chase the process. If you can just look at this as points and not money, it'll come, because look how quick this can really add up. Say for instance, if you end up doing, say, your average at $1,000 a day, you saw how easy it is from pivot to pivot in, say, 30 minutes making $1,000 a day. Well, what happens if, say, your goal is now 100,000? Well, if you had 10 accounts making $1,000 a day, you would make that in 10 days. You would make $100,000. And when I say 10 accounts, if you slowly over the course of a couple months start building and getting these accounts, there's something called a trade copier. So you trade one account and then it just duplicates all the others. So you don't have to trade all these different accounts. So it's the law of numbers and the law of like compounding, And so, but you have to start small. again, there's people out there that with one account can turn $50,000 into $50,000. What job out there can you do that with? So you can do this as in little as 30 minutes, hour, 2 hours in a day, and then move on with your day and have your day job until you perfect this. So that is pretty much everything that I sort of wanted to show in this sort of brief summary. There's a lot of other things you'll learn, like technical analysis, where you're looking at trends, bull flags, support, resistance. But at the end of the day, none of that really matters, because today, if you eliminated everything and you just played these lines and pivots, you see that we went to everything. Even if you missed all this and you got in here and went short, you could have gone to the downside and made 100 points there. So it's all about the entry and holding. This took an hour and a half. So you would have to step away from the market for an hour and a half and not trade, which is the hardest thing, is to not scalp. So this is something you want to get into. Message me and we can, or with any questions, but I do a lot of daily reviews. So after the market closes, you'll be able to see a pattern of what I'm showing of what this looks like. These are 5-minute candles with a 30-minute overlay. So each one of these green candles is 30 minutes. Each one of these smaller candles are 5 minutes, so it sort of shows you what they're doing, but it's trending up. So markets trend up or they trend down, but it's really hard to predict if you don't have these lines, because this is what you would have saw in the morning. This was Friday, this was today. You couldn't predict that we would be playing all in here. That is the hardest thing about trading, is seeing the future, but you're not trying to predict the future. You're just trying to get in certain areas and then holding for certain lines. And if you do that, you know, unemotionally and like a robot, then you can slowly build your account and compartmentalize. So good luck, and we'll see you later.